Hey, hi, how's it going? Golden here. So, today we're playing some mono red. So, I've avoided this deck a little bit just because it's been kind of the bane of a lot of people's existence for years. It gets a bad rap, but this version of mono red that's this year, obviously it can be very, very aggressive, very powerful. But it's not unbeatable, and I think it is something that is definitely necessary to have a strong presence in the meta because it can keep things like blue-green under control, for instance. The control decks that can just run rampant under control. So I think it definitely has its place. And honestly, for me, I'm a aggro player at heart. There's just something about smashing your opponent in the face uncontrollably for 10 minutes and then winning aggressively that I just like. My deck of choice happens to be the Golgari Adventures deck that I did a deck tech on a couple weeks back. That's probably my favorite aggressive deck. But this one's fun too. After playing it, getting the hang of it a little bit, it's obviously very, very aggressive and very, very strong. It does have its downsides to the mid-range creatures once Love-Struck Beasts hit the board. If Cavalier of anything hits the board, it kind of falls short. But if you get enough aggression early that they're on the back foot and you get enough creatures down, it's good. So I played around with the build a little bit. I went with lighter lands and heavier lands. I think this build needs 22 minimum. This one has 23 lands. You have bigger creatures in Torbran, Annex, Embercleave, which usually you're casting that pretty cheap, but you still sometimes need to cast it with 4 or 5 mana to finish out games. And it runs a little bit higher of a curve than what your normal mono red in the past has done. But a lot of the mono red staples are still in this deck with a couple cool additions from the new set. So we have our token 1-drops that can start the game off fast, start the game off early in Fervent Champion, Scorch Spitter. I went with Scorch Spitter over the little can't block me goblin, just because I'm also running Light Up the Stage in this deck, and a lot of times Scorch Spitter will get that damage to the player, even though they're blocking it without using any mana. So that way you can then, on turn 2, especially if you're a little bit low on lands, Light Up the Stage, draw out cards that you need, and keep the ball rolling. Maybe drop the land if you didn't draw one early enough and you need to kind of keep the curve rolling. So that's good. Obviously, in the new build, the all-star of this build that makes this possible is Annex, Harden in the Forge. So this card right here, problem that mono red had, and especially mono red that wants to run Embercleave, is if they take out 1 or 2 of your creatures early, or you hit a board clear, the game's just over. You just don't have anything. I mean, we've had sticking power in cards like Light Up the Stage and Experimental Frenzy that allows you to keep going late, but Annex just instantly keeps creatures on the board, so you can attack, get an Embercleave down, makes it plausible to actually play this card in mono red, where previously you really couldn't, because a lot of times they take out 1 or 2 of your creatures and you're never casting this and it's just sitting in your hand dead. Annex is a way to keep creatures on the board, keep attacking with a wide board, even if you get board cleared. So this is the all-star of this deck. This is why this deck is even a thing right now. On the sideboard real quick, Redcap Melee, which I'm not really that fond of this card, but a lot of people seem to think it's good, so I'm running it, and I haven't found that it's really that great. I mean, in the mirror it is, and that's pretty much it, is in the mirror. A lot of times destroying that land, unless you're getting flooded, in which case you're probably losing the game anyways, unless you're getting flooded, it's not going to be able to be good enough to really give you the win there. So, but it's in here for the mirror. Lava Coil again against the mirror. It's really good. Unchained Berserker against mono white, and blue white puts in the work. This is a really good card in those matchups. And I am tempted to put more in the sideboard, but I only did that. Maybe take out a Phoenix of Ash, which can be good against Planeswalker based decks. And just to get that final push or against blue white or Esper, it's very good. But I might bring this down to 2 and bring this up to 3. That'd be a very good tech, I think, and something I might do in the future. Tibalt, anything with healing, obviously shuts down mono white if it can stick on the board, but shuts down mono white lifelink in its tracks and basically wins you the game. If you can get this down with a couple creatures to protect it, you're golden. Experimental Frenzy for an extra sticking power in certain matchups where you kind of need that final push. Control matchups, maybe blue-green ramp. That would be a good one to bring this into. So that's the deck. We're playing mono red, and you're gonna like it regardless. No, I'm just kidding. So enjoy the matchups. I had some good matchups. Got a little tilted playing this deck at first because it is different, and it took a second to get used to the more mid-rangey feel of this deck. It's not just slam your opponents in the face every single game. But ultimately I figured it out. I was able to start winning, getting on a roll, get it rolling, and the deck was a lot of fun. So enjoy the gameplay, and I'll see you next time. Oh, man, I can't stop smelling myself. Got some new cologne. It's one of those Instagram deals, you know, how it just pops up and says that if you get this cologne, everybody will love the way you smell and comment on it. But I just keep wanting to smell myself over and over again. All right, so we'll start out with the Scorch Spitter. Okay, you Fervent Champions. That is fine. We will be shocking that, but first... So we have an Embercleave, so I do kind of want to get aggressive. But I also want to use that light up the stage, so... I think I attack first. We're going to use the light up the stage. Okay, and I'm going to use the shock. Could have saved it for his turn, I guess, for a better thing. And that probably was the right place, so I just get impatient sometimes. Doesn't look like we found a better target anyways, so now we're just going straight Fervent Champion Tribal. Shocks 1. Oh, we are not done. Hold that back because I don't want the trade because I have Embercleave. So next turn I can attack with all 3 and Embercleave unless he takes something out. If I get that 4th mana source, I can drop Torbran. I do get the 4th mana source. And I think Torbran... Not sure what the right decision here is. So if I use Embercleave this turn, yeah, I'm gonna put Torbran down. That way, no matter what he blocks, it's a trade for Annex. Oh, actually, never mind. He decides not to block anything and I win. So there we go. Okay, so we're gonna put in the lava coils here. Put in the red cap melees. And I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else we need to put in here. I might take out 1 Torbran. I think the Rimrock Knights aren't doing very much. Maybe I'll take out all of them and put in another Torbran. Go like that. That seems fine. Waiting on your opponent. Yeah, we have the Bone Crusher Giants. That seems good. We have an early creature. Obviously, 5 lands isn't what you normally want to see. Let's see if we eat a shock here. We don't have anything better to do with our lives, but we do have the 3-mana Bone Crusher, which can be a very good card in this matchup. Feverish Champion comes down. Gonna hold the Stomp to see what happens next. Annex comes down. I'm gonna Stomp this before Annex hits the battlefield. Hey, did you know we have lands? Put down the body. The Bone Crusher body. See if he has Lava Coils in hand. He has a Steamkin, Lava Coil maybe. Obviously that's going to be our target for the Bone Crusher Giant. Could also put Torbrand down, which might be a good decision. Deciding whether I want to Stomp this to make sure he can't block it. Because if he does something like... I don't think he will anyways. Let's attack first, see what he decides to do. Okay. We're gonna wait till his turn. We're gonna Stomp the Steamkin. Take the 1 damage. We'll see if he just tries to... see what he tries to put this on. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have let him attack. Double cleaved. So if I attack here, unfortunately we come pretty close to death here. But I think we're pretty much there anyways. This does 3. Unfortunately. So I can't block that out. I can leave this back. It keeps me alive, but not really well. So this, if I block with this, I might have to block with Torbrand, unfortunately, just to stay alive. But it doesn't... I have to try to do that. Hopefully I can draw an Embercleave of my own. Oh, double shock. Shock, Bone Crusher. Alright, that's game. He takes 2, I misplay, that's why, so... I will not make that mistake again. Alright, this looks like a good one. So Scorch Spirit into Steamkin, and we're on the play, so Steamkin gets much better. I obviously want to draw into some more things. But turn 2 Steamkin, turn 3 Steamkin, possibly Shock, or turn 3 Annex. We're gonna attack, deal some damage. Put down a Steamkin, hope it doesn't die. If it does, we have another one. He uses the Lava Core on that, so hopefully that means he doesn't have another one. Okay, I'm gonna put down the Sword Spitter. I could have held open Shock, but I don't feel like that has much use. At best, it hits a Steam pin. Okay, that is perfectly fine with me.
Oh, they're so cute.
Okay. Annex grows the Steamkin. So he can take out the Scorch Spitters, which is unfortunate. Suppose I could have left it back and he would have only been able to take out one. But I get the 1/1s out of it anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. Which is one of the reasons this card is so amazing. A land or an Ember Cleaver are my two best draws.
The more, the messier.
Okay. Let's see, do I win here? What can I get this to? If I Torbrin, this goes to 4. I don't have any trample, so I don't win here. But I do a lot of damage and I'm way ahead. I could also shock, pull the mana, then Torbrin, then attack. This would be at 3 if I do that. No, this would only be at 2, so that's not what I want to do. I'm just going to Torbrin and attack. He can double block Annex, but that's fine. If he lets the Steamkin through completely, I have Shock open. See how he blocks here. Okay, he blocks the Steamkin. Takes him down to 4. Shock is lethal. It kills the Steamkin, but it is lethal. Alright, we take it. Even though my second game was not very clean, I think going first is how you win. Alright. Ooh. Peter Benelish. Alright, so 2 Scorch Spitters, 2 Embercleaves. So obviously we need some more stuff here, but it's good enough. I think that if we can get maybe Bone Crusher Giant, Anax would be great to draw into, but we have top decks that can make this a good starting hand. Anax would be wonderful because we might need some staying power. I see a Temple of Enlightenment and I'm thinking control. We can Embercleave next turn though. So, I mean, we're getting Embercleave down right now. So, I mean, that's a turn 3 Embercleave. I mean, it's not the most impactful Embercleave because it's going on Scorch Spitter, but even still, look, we're already having down to 7. And we have a Rimrock Knight next turn. That's a beautiful thing. We hit Rimrock Knight onto the Scorch Spitter with Embercleave. He needs an answer right now. So a counter would be bad, but we do have the shock too, so let's wait till blocking happens. So he Tyrant scores that. Let that resolve. and see if... I mean, we win, right? Yeah. I mean, we just win. So we're going to Rimrock Knight, Scorch Spitter that's not blocked. We're going to shock his face, and we just win. So that's pretty much a god draw, especially against the deck like this, where they don't have their board wipes early. So I mean, that's pretty good. He does have the hell am I trying to say? He does have life gain with those Birth of Melitus, but it's not like I guess he does have a lot of life gain with the bird at the end, so it's probably worth putting in. I don't know if the Phoenix is worth it. I think we're just gonna put in Tybalt. Maybe that just went from 3 to 2. Okay, just 2 Tybalts. We want to be aggressive, basically. So I'm going to take down 1 Torbran. Tybalt's just kind of in there just in case. And it is pretty aggressive. Annex, I think, is important. Steamkin, I'm going to take out the Steamkins. It's not as good when you're going second, so I'm going to put in Torbran back in. So that's good. Okay, that's a good keep. So yeah, like I was saying, Steamkin's not as good when you're going second because it's a little bit slow, but once it gets rolling, it's good. So like that extra turn that you're not doing anything just because you're dropping a 1/1, if you drop it on 2, isn't always great. Now, it can still god draw and go off, but... Okay, so he puts down the Birth of Melitus. Going to... I could have Fervent Champion, but I want to get Light of the Stage off. Okay. I wanted to use that mountain. Now we'll drop that. Now, obviously, I missed out on 3 damage there. But, ultimately... I think it's worth it. I could be wrong. That could have been the wrong play, just because I had 2 first. Usually you want to attack first, use it, and then use the mountain that you draw off of it, in case you draw like 2 mountains or whatever. But in that case, I mean... get that off the board, get it out of my way. So Shatter would be bad here. I maybe should have planned for that by putting Annex down. Nope. Okay, so no Annex. Maybe a counter. I'm gonna attack first. So I kind of have to do this. I would imagine next turn he's going to board wipe me. He knows I have this, so I gotta try to play it. Yeah, I kind of figured that was gonna happen. I have to kind of go all in now. There's nothing really... I could have tried to play around it and just held everything in my hand, but honestly, yeah, Shatter. Okay. So now we're just looking for like an Embercleave or something. Okay, Fervent Champion works. I mean, it kind of gets us back in the game. He's down to 2 cards. There's a chance those cards aren't that. That's exactly what I was going to say. There's a chance it's not a Dream Trawler. Okay, so Torbran is good. We still kind of have a chance if he has almost absolutely nothing in his hand. I think I can win on the attack, but okay, well, I mean, that does 4 damage. Alright. Get him down to 2. Protection from white here. He draws and attacks, goes to 5. So he has to have something to deal with that, with Torbrand. Or else he just loses. So he has to have something. Maybe Shatter. Another Tyrant Scorn. Brazen Borrower. Just a blocker? Oh, no, he doesn't. Alright, we take it. So, we overcome the Dream Trawler. That's perfect. Do you ever have one of those days where you just randomly crave pizza all day long? Doesn't even matter what kind, but that's all you want. Today is one of those days. Alright. Solid. We have early creatures, Bone Crusher Giant, which is good, into Embercleave. Unfortunately, we are going second, so we don't have that advantage, but we're not sure what we're against yet. We'll see. Alright, maybe Temur Reclamation. I don't have anything for Bone Crusher yet, so let me attack first. Let's get the Rimrock Knight down. Let's get the Rimrock Knight down. Hopefully we can get an early Embercleave off. Next turn we have Annex, so that helps us against the board clears. Now, with that mana... Okay, he gets there too soon. That is unfortunate. But, it's okay, because we can restock. Let's see, this turn. I'm just going to stomp and to light up the stage. Okay. It is fires. He has Teferi.
You'll thank me later.
So Fire's Invention obviously pretty scary. So we're not doing the best right now. I'm just gonna play out the Bone Crusher Giant. I don't think I could afford to waste a turn without getting something on the board. Okay. I can do 10 damage with Embercleave next turn.
Here we go.
Which is pretty good. You can obviously do a lot more and probably win the game. It's not good. Hopefully he didn't get anything too crazy. But he can't play another card, so that's good. Give himself haste. Give me a good old boink. Decides to leave it back. I'm gonna attack. I mean, I might as well, right? He sees through my schemes. I think what I'll do is actually put down Annex and take out Teferi. Start building a little bit of resistance here. He played both of his cards, so I'm not worried about... Alright, so do I go to Teferi or I go face? I think I'm going to go Teferi to make sure he doesn't... So what can Teferi do? So Teferi makes it so I can't play Embercleave when I attack, so I need to take that out. If I drew another land, it wouldn't have mattered anyways, but it's still probably the right play. So he could obviously just win this turn, but I do have Annex as a blocker that creates 2/1/1s that also will allow me to still get some aggression in if he does. If he does go. So Kenrith would be bad. There's a lot of things that could be bad here. Obviously, board clear is not good, but at least I do have Annex here, so I'll get 3 tokens out of it. One cool interaction, if you drop Annex with another Annex down, both trigger, you still have Annex, so that's bad. You still have Annex, and that's even worse. Those are probably the 2 worst cards he possibly could have had there. Alright, I'm gonna say this is game, so we're just gonna go to the next one. Phoenix is good, it recurs, and it hits Teferi. We need to be aggressive. I didn't see Bonecrusher Giant, but he might have it in his sideboard. This cannot be hit by Teferi, but it does get hit by Deafening Clarion, so that's probably his early... That's his best early card, is those board wipes, so I'm not going to put this in. Doesn't do that much. I don't know that Steamkin does too much in this matchup. I'm going to actually take the Steamkins out. I'm going to put both of those in. Leave that, leave that, leave that. We need to be fast, so I think all this other stuff is fine. We don't really need to stabilize, so I'm going to take out 1 Bonecrusher Giant. Even though Bonecrusher Giant obviously is value city, but could it be a mistake? I think it's fine. I think it's the right play. Going first, this is not a hand we want to keep. This is much better. We are going to drop... I think we drop Shock over Bonecrusher. I might regret that if he deals with my Fervent Champion, but I don't think he's going to be able to deal with anything that quickly. Let's see, he's playing Shock of his own. I don't think he's going to have any 1 mana removal, so we start out with that. Obviously, him having that in his opening hand is not good. We go and light up the stage, see what we draw. We draw a land. Should have waited for that land drop. Told you guys, I just get excited. putting Annex down now. That way, Deafening Clarion leaves behind 3 tokens. Perfect. 2 tokens, rather. We're gonna light up the stage again. But we're gonna do it before we drop our non-existent land. Let's see, what's the best bet here? So, this would use the my mana a little bit more efficiently and put more power on the board. I am just going to drop that. Obviously, we lose out on Stomp. So, worst would be another Clarion here. I think we might get punished here. Fires into... What's he doing? What's he doing? Ah, another one. I knew it. Alright, so let's try to get enough board so we can use Embercleave. So I'm just going to go Rimrock Knight, Unchained Berserker. Next turn we have Embercleave if we still have a board. Okay, Sphinx into Deafening Clarion number 3. Surely not. Oh, no. Alright, perfect. So we can now... And we'll be able to Embercleave. See if he does decide to block one of these. Obviously we Embercleave whatever he blocks. Takes it out with first strike. We do 7 damage. We're in pretty good shape. We do have the Phoenix for the haste. And Rimrock Knight, so we'll go in for 4. Embercleave's still on the board. Obviously the protection from white on here is pretty important. He can't bounce it with Teferi. He can bounce the Embercleave with Teferi, but that's kind of a waste because I can still kill him. Okay, takes Rimrock Knight or Embercleave. Shouldn't matter though. He can't touch the Unchained Berserker, so that was obviously that was a good boarding choice here. He can't play any cards right now. We're just gonna go in and we get him. Alright, so we take game 2. And we see that that was a good choice. Okay, so he boarded in some more... He probably boarded in some more board clears that we didn't see. Staying power is most important. We could put in Experimental Frenzy, but I think if it gets to the point where we're playing Experimental Frenzy, we're probably dead. We are going second though, so it might be worth it. You know what? Nah, we'll stay. We'll keep it like this. I mean, that shows how good Annex can be. We survived 2 Deafening Clarions there. Alright, so we have Bone Crusher. We have a good curve into Torbran. It's not really what we want here. We don't have a good play really until turn 3. Okay, I guess that looks a little bit better. I'm gonna drop one of the lands. Okay. Alright, Scorch Spitter goes down. I'm a Fervent Champion and hold open a shock. We're just try to get some early damage in. Annex would be one of our best draws next turn. So, if he Teferis, we can't shock it, unfortunately. But we'll probably end up just shocking his face at the end of the turn. Let's see if he got a couple more Deafening Clarence this game also. Yes, he did. Cool. I'm gonna hold the shock. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna conserve it. Alright. So if I put down Bone Crusher, yeah, I have to get some aggression going. I don't really have a choice. Right now, I only have that and Torbran, so I have to get something going. Even if he bounces and I'm back kind of where I started. Okay, there's fires. If he uses a board clear, okay. Well, it's a use for my shocks, so I'm gonna do this. It does damage to me, but it's fine. Get this out of the way. The safe choice probably would have been to put down Annex and maybe attack with the Bone Crusher Giant. But what I'm hoping is that he hasn't drawn into what he needs, and I draw another land, get Torbran. Cavalier. Alright, well, we are probably going to lose now, unfortunately. He turns him sideways. Okay. We maybe have a chance here. So this gets trampled. No, I don't think we do. That only does 6, unfortunately. If I put this down, it does 4, but the trample will kill me. We come close. So maybe the right choice there would have been to put down Annex and wait, and then either way, I think that we were in trouble there. So, all right, that's game. So we get Fire's Invention. Honestly, that matchup, if we go first twice, we win twice. If not, we lose. So we don't have anything to deal with Fires, and he drew Fires on curve and Deafening Clarion on every single game. So there wasn't a lot that we were going to be able to do to get over that. All right. Get to play first. Okay, so this is acceptable. We have too many lands in our hand, but I'm going to keep it. We have an early creature, so we want to get aggressive. Let's get off to an aggressive start here. We got white lifelinkers. I will be killing that immediately. I'm gonna shock the bird, bolt the bird. We're gonna do damage, and we're gonna light up the stage. Okay. Bone Crusher Giant is good. Okay, so put this down. I think I want to use the Bone Crusher Giant. Let me attack first and see what he decides to do. I would imagine he's not going to block this, but you never know. Use Bone Crusher. Keep Shock open. Didn't want to lose that. But we'll keep Shock open to see if he drops another creature. There's Daxos. Perfect. We will take care of that right away. Get Bone Crusher down. Maybe, actually, honestly, I should have put Annex down. That was my mistake. Because he could have attacked in for more. Let's just get in there. Light up the stage. Get the land. Yes, we're gonna get Annex down now. So we're in a good position. We could use... Okay. Just get in there. I should have maybe hit that first, but... Oh. Okay. I mean... Let's just be winning, right? Okay, quick game against white lifelinkers. So obviously Tibalt, Unchained Berserker, Lava Coils. I'm gonna leave this out. I'm not really that sold on Red Cap Melee. Obviously it's good, and it's really good in the mirror. And I guess in the mirror is really the only thing I would bring that in for. So what do we want to take out here? I want to take out Runaway Steamkin and the Rimrock Knights, I think. But that does kind of get us down on creatures, and we don't want to be down on creatures. So try to keep our curve the same. I think I will take out one Torbran. Obviously not Annex. I'll take out 2 Rimrock Knights. I'll take out all 3. And then I put in the Tibalts. Don't really want to take out Embercleave. That's like, it's the best card of the deck, for sure. I mean, Light Up the Stage is good. Bone Crush is good. Annex, there's not a lot of... All of his stuff is Exile, so I think Annex probably not as good in this matchup. Okay, we'll run it like this. I'd like to still keep a couple Annex in there. Okay, so we go second. We have answers, and we have cheap answers, which is important. He doesn't have a 1-drop. That's perfect. I'm going to leave Shock open. Okay. We're going to get the Scorch Spitter down now. And we still have Shock open. Getters.
We can banish evil from this plane. Prepare for battle.
Okay, so what do we have here? We can go 2. I need to take out Gideon, and if I put down Tibalt, he's just gonna attack with Gideon anyways. It's a lot of damage to spend on one thing though, so it might be worth just trying to race him down. But the lifelink that Gideon gives is just too much, so I think it's worth it. But can I deal 5 damage this turn? So Fervent Champions puts me to 2, 3, 4. So I can do 4 there. I think Bone Crusher and Shock is the best I can do. This will... No, this does do 2 damage. Never mind. So that's 3. So if I put down Fervent Champion and then I Bone Crusher, that gets me something else on board. And I can kill it.
I've fought worse.
Okay, so we take out Gideon.
Not frighten me.
And all we wasted was 1 stomp. Obviously, we wasted 3 damage from that as well. But resources-wise, we're still in good shape. Okay, so... I'm gonna... That's tempting. I'm gonna put down Tybalt.
I would be honored to break your mind.
Going to attack here. If he decides to block, I'll shock it. Make the devil. Alright, now we have 2 Torbans in hand. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Shit. Damn it, Johnny. Annoying.
I will be there. Our true strength lies in our friendships.
Yeah. Just go face. Do a lot of damage.
My friend is here to help your pain.
Can't gain life, so that's a good thing.
My pride grows strong.
Okay, so... What do we do here? Heliod is a huge problem for us. So... If I attack with these 3, I'm going to lose the Fervent Champion to that. I'm fine with that. Or if I just attack with these 2, they're both coming in for 3 damage. I think that's the right move. So let's attack here and here. So we can take out Linden. Perfect. That makes Heliod not a creature. Perfect. So getting Tybalt doing work. All right, guys, we're going to end it there. So showing why Mono Red can be one of the best decks to ladder with. I mean, right now it has some good matchups and has some bad matchups. It's definitely not overpowered. But once you learn how to play it, which that was my first time playing it, and it wasn't perfect, it can go fast. Those games go really fast. You can, even though the win rate might not be as high as maybe playing something like Fires of Invention or some of the other control-y type decks that are out right now, the fact that you can get through so many games quickly, if you're over 50%, that's all you need. And this deck definitely, once you get the hang of it, is over 50%. I would say it's probably a little bit harder to play than red decks in the past because it has more of a mid-range feel with a lot heavier creatures and more lands, but it's not just, okay, burn his face. There's a little bit more in the mid-range to make some decisions with, but with a little bit of practice, it's a good deck to definitely ladder with. My personal preference is still Golgari Adventures with the top end of Grey Merchant of Acido. If you haven't seen that deck yet, I do have a deck tech on it that I posted a couple weeks ago. I'll put it in the description below, so if you want to try that deck out, I think that's the best deck to ladder with right now. It's aggressive enough, but it has play against everything. I've been able to beat a lot of stuff. I beat the red deck almost every time, unless it god draws, because there's better creatures. But give it a try. Give this one a try. It's very fun when you win. And thanks, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the channel, and I'll see you next time.